The Edmund Fitzgerald was the biggest lake freighter in the American side, but sadly, she sank on November 10th, 1975, with all 29 men on board. And all they have is a bell to remember her by, and a broken lifeboat. And they can only be seen at Whitefish Point. So I see the faces of their wives and children. They want something more, and we can give them something more. Everyone knows the 29 men who died in the lake. We need to build something more effective to the families of those men who has fallen on that terrible day. For example, they have a bell with their names on it, but only people can see it at Whitefish Shipwreck Museum. According to Captain Cooper, captain of the SS Arthur Anderson, I seen her disappear from my radar out of trace. He knew the captain most on the ship, so he rang the bell for the captain 5 days from her devastating sinking. According to the families of the men, they wanted something more than just a bell. They wanted more to see and remember them by. The crew on the ship had families they never went back to, and just think of how they feel if they got home and seen that all they had to remember them by was just a stupid bell. They want something more than just, they want more. And I know that, and you would know that. I know that they would want something that in their lives that is forever in them. Something that will never turn old or rust or shatter. They would want something their families would love to remember them by not the way they died, but the way they sailed on the ship, on the lake, to Toledo, Detroit, etc. They need a story to show you that they're not dead but alive inside, and they can be inside the memorial for all of us to see. Percentage of storms you see here is very high. And you can see that all of this is a lot light blue, and a lot of this is light blue and dark blue. The dark blue is the degree of temperature that they had to suffer in that night. It was really low, but the waves were really high. The percentage of storms on Lake Superior are always high when the gales in November come early. The winds blow really hard, and the rain never stops falling. That is what sunk the Big Fitz. A big wave that came over the railing and had gone to the hatches and flooded the inside of the ship. What if we can make a memorial to forget all that? To forget, not all just because of the sad day, but to make it a happy day. A day for the wives and the sons and the daughters from the Edmund Fitzgerald, of all the men who died on the ship, to be remembered by the state that once called her the pride of the American side. The Edmund Fitzgerald was the pride of the American side, but the gales of November took her on November 10th, 1975, with all 29 men. She only had her bell to remember her by. We need to remember her by not how she sank, but all the stuff that she carried, the coal to Toledo, and the iron ore to Detroit, and other places. We can build a future Whitefish Point SS Edmund Fitzgerald Museum. A man by the name of Gordon Lightfoot made a song called "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" to also remember all 29 men who died on that fateful voyage. For the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down in the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, they said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. Thank you.